Good morning, I'm Julio Saenz, along with Mauricio Riveros. Today we'll meet Herb Escher, President and CEO of Dale Carnegie of Western New York.
We hope you will be inspired.
Celebrating leaders in Rochester's unique and vibrant business community, we'll meet entrepreneurs whose passion and perseverance have helped push through life's challenges. Join us as we share their stories and journeys to success. It's time to be inspired.
Hi, Herb. Thank you so much for being in Be Inspired again. It's great to see you. We are excited. As you know, this program has been developed to bring the good news in Rochester about business entrepreneurs. Even in this time of COVID and difficulty and challenge, there is always an opportunity. So welcome back again, Herb.
Thank you so much for having me here. Definitely excited, always excited to be able to see you, Mauricio, you, Julio, and to be able to always collaborate.
Excellent. So Herb, let's start. You know, we have been probably a year, no, actually, you were our first guest. You were our first guest of Be Inspired. And, you know, a lot of things have happened, a lot of change. So let's talk about first, who is Herb Escher and how are things with Herb?
Yeah, so Herb Escher, who I am, I'm, a lifelong servant looking to be able to help others and be able to add value to whomever I'm working with, to love the person that's in front of me and to be able to see how I can always be that helping hand within our community.
Excellent. So Herb, Dale Carnegie, tell us a little bit about Dale Carnegie. There's a new look in Dale Carnegie, innovation. Yeah. Technology, you guys are in a new stage. So tell us a little bit about what's going on in Dale Carnegie.
Yeah, so Dale Carnegie, in our Dale Carnegie franchise, our purpose of why we wake up every single day is to provide transformational experiences so that our clients and individuals can be able to achieve their dream. And so during the COVID process and when this all started, we did not stop living that purpose. We looked at converting everything that we had from how we would do things in a traditional classroom to be able to do it in a virtual classroom. And for Dale Carnegie as an organization, that wasn't a new thing for them. Our organization has been involved in virtual training since 2012. But for Dale Carnegie of Western New York, this was absolutely brand new business for us. And so we really hunkered down as a team to be able to see how we could be able to provide value for our clients. And so we had a couple clients that said, yes, we're going to transition with you and we're going to try this and pilot this. And so we have, when we've definitely have been piloting this. And from that pilot, it's really working. It's been interesting because from our traditional classroom of how we do things to this virtual classroom, our voice of the customer scores has actually increased, which I was completely surprised. The other thing that we've been doing is we do weekly free trainings for the whole community. And so every single week, every Friday, we do a brand new topic. And we've been getting about 300 people per session registering for these workshops in Rochester, in Buffalo, and actually, believe it or not, globally. It was impressive. We do breakout rooms, and in one of the breakout rooms, we had a lady from Kenya in the program. And so she's at her house, working virtually, and then all of a sudden you see her child Zoom bombing in there. And so it was cool because it's like, what we're going through, everybody in the world is going through. Another thing was neat. We actually had an entire radio station from India join one of these free sessions. And so it's cool because we always talk up Rochester, talk up Western New York and where we live. So it gets people to understand our community, but also just, providing these services for our clients and also for the greater community during these tough times.
Wow. Herb, I know that with people being at home and everything, a lot of folks have taken advantage of the time to get their staff trained on new topics and new things and people that want to learn on their own. Has the content of what you offer changed? You just mentioned some of the free classes. What are some of the topics and things that have developed with everything that's happened?
Yeah. So, thank you. So Yeah, some of the topics, it's not necessarily the topics. Our programs are extremely facilitative and engaging. And so what we are able to do is really take some of our core programs and make it relatable to whatever people are going through. So what we're seeing a lot of clients having a tough time with is we've adapted an agile work environment. Most organizations, especially in a software platform, or an agile, where an agile forces lots of collaborations and lots of building relationships. And now you're taking those folks and you're putting them home, right? And so now what we're seeing more is more of the need for those folks to be able to build those relationships.
For people to keep the relationship with the clients, even that now they need to through Zoom. What are the key recommendations that you give to our business community that are watching right now the program?
Yeah, so you want to look at first thing 2 points of leaders keeping relationships with their employees. What we see is within our business, however people are leading, is how they're going to be able to treat their clients. So making sure us as leaders are creating consistent touch points with our people, especially in a virtual world, being able to keep culture in a forefront of how they do things and how they manage and work with people, understanding at the same time that everybody's dealing with different things within their life. And so being able to be that helping hand, to be able to be that ear. People, lots of people have had to become not just parents, but they've had to become teachers at the same time, and also world-class chefs. And then, getting all this negative news of what's going on in the world too. So there's a lot of things that's, driving angst in people. So I think first as a leader is to be able to make sure to know where your team always is, emotionally, and investing in that. And when you start seeing that type of investment, then you really want to be able to have your people touch base with your clients, listen to the clients, not look to sell your clients, but look at what value you should be adding to your clients. Whether it be a McKinsey white paper on different plans of how to deal with the COVID situation, to some kind of opportunity that you see that might address them, such as like we've just got this wonderful news about Kodak, and being able to reach out to people that that might be able to benefit off of that and show excitement for them. And so the one thing also that we've done within our clients is we've been holding monthly roundtables with top decision makers, just to get people also collaborating and talking, because there is no roadmap or plan that was ever developed for a pandemic. And the interesting thing that I've seen, within Dale Carnegie, is we're an organization that actually survived the first pandemic. I mean, we're an organization that's been around for the Spanish flu, been around for world wars. And so what that really tells us is the value of relationships and the value of getting people to really keep those relationships strong. So.
Now, Herb, let me ask you about technology, since that's been key to all that we've been doing these days. And it's great. I've read an article that talked about how, years of testing and deployment and everything was basically done in a matter of days to get all these businesses up and running virtually and people working from home. Mm-hmm. So, for other business owners watching the show, what are some things that worked really well for you with technology? And was there anything that you hit some bumps on the road and had to overcome?
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, definitely. So what we've seen in the value of technology is we're seeing, first of all, our clients who traditionally, you have different generations within the workforce, right? And so now you're forcing some of the generations that would not adapt beforehand to be able to adapt to technology, because we're in the middle of a crisis. And so we have to be able to adapt to this technology. So we're seeing lots of utilization of like Microsoft Teams. We're obviously seeing utilization of Zoom. And what we're also going to start seeing is more of the utilization around AI. So I believe it was Twitter and PayPal that switched all their customer service that's done on the internet to chatbot, right? And so we're going to start seeing more and more and more of that being able to progress. Some of the speed bumps, again, that we have within our organization is, we're a company that is an in-person type of thing. And so the first thing is being able to get to know the Zoom platform and being able to see how you're going to create, the same type of experience or a similar experience in a Zoom room. So that took a lot of us brainstorming, testing. It didn't always go right, but what we did was we just kept on moving forward, and it's been interesting. Some of our best clients has grown with us around how many people that they are putting through Dale Carnegie programs during this time, because they see this great progression of what this technology has been able to do with them. The other thing that we see that is a tremendous advantage of using this technology that we have right now, especially in the work that we do, is organizations that are decentralized and have multiple locations never have the opportunity to be able to have people build relationships on a national level or even a larger regional level. So what we're seeing is this is a great opportunity for companies to make them smaller through relationships. And so we're seeing a lot of that within our clients. And again, they're investing because they're seeing good performance around it from their people in a culture standpoint. So it's really exciting.
Well, thank you, Herb. We'll be back with more after these messages.
So Herb, you probably have touched this, but I think it's fundamental for our audience to analyze a little bit more. This is a global issue. This is not an issue that just affects the United States. It's not just one market or segment of the economy. It's all about, right? It's everything. So we will be probably facing a real crisis, and the crisis is coming, right? I don't want to be an alarmist, but unfortunately there is a crisis. Mm-hmm. And traditionally companies, what they do is they cut their overhead. And one of the line items that everybody look is the training, and they take away training, and they don't want to invest anymore in leadership. And you are an expert in leadership. What will be the recommendation to the business owners about that specific component, which in my opinion, actually is people need to double the investment on that. But what's your take on that?
Yeah, so, a lot of what we saw even previous to the pandemic was a lot of folks that had leadership pipelines, because you see an aging out within leaders and baby boomers starting to retire. So there's this leadership pipeline of brand new leaders. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put these brand new leaders and you're going to put them in a pandemic situation. And then while you put them in a pandemic situation, a part of their job is laying people off and furloughing people, but then still keep people engaged. And so what that is, it's a recipe of disaster, because you have people who were always great individual performers and didn't know how to be able to deal with this. And then also within organizations, within any type of multiple amount of people that are in a company equals politics, which equals grapevine, which equals slowing speed down. And when you're in an office, you could see that and you could work with that. Now, the office is only as long as that Zoom meeting and then whatever people do afterwards. So I think any organization that is serious about knowing that they need to engage their people during this time, I think any organization that's looking at how to be able to succeed even after the pandemic should be doubling down on two aspects, on their leaders and on their salespeople. And if they double down on those two and they invest in those two, what they will see is a transformation within their organization. See, the thing we're seeing, around technology, data that was showed that how the world is going to operate 10 years from now starting to operate within 2 years to 1 year, because there's going to be jobs that need to be done but they're not going to be able to afford people to do it. So what are they going to invest in? That's where they invest in automation and artificial intelligence. So you're going to see organizations continue to invest into that to allow the work to get done, to allow people to be more efficient and them to be more efficient. And then they're going to double down on how they're creating leadership pipelines and how they're developing leaders to be able to be innovative, and then have salespeople to be able to sell the products and sell the solutions and be a real add value to the clients. And so we're seeing a lot. Those are two areas that we're seeing a lot of focus in.
That's great, Herb. I was about to ask you, you kind of took away my question. I was going to ask you, because when I first started my first larger business, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was somebody told me, plan for the best. Mm-hmm. Everybody tells you to plan for the worst, but you also have to plan for the best in case, hey, things, take off really quickly. And are you ready and primed to take advantage of the market and the economy doing well? But my other question was around then, if one of the things we've heard from some of the business owners we've interviewed since we've gotten the show back on and focused on COVID is, how are you taking care of your employees? Anything you're doing with them to provide that structure and support during all of this?
Yeah. So the first thing that we did, and we actually did this pre-COVID. So, before, kind of also talking about what Mauricio was saying, how this is a global thing. We started seeing the impact that this was having in China. And then it allowed us to start planning that whatever's happening in China is going to be worse here because they can handle that pandemic. But as soon as it gets to the United States, it's going to be tough. So we started planning on that. And one of the things that we have is a daily huddle. So every single day we get together as a team for, 15 to 30 minutes. We talk about things that we're excited about. We have water cooler conversations. And then we set different objectives of what we need to be doing for that day to be able to move forward. And then we hold each other accountable towards that. And throughout that day, we leverage Microsoft Teams, where we're chatting with each other. We're having, I'm personally having weekly one-on-ones with people who are reporting to me, and sometimes even daily. You'll see some weeks that we're doing things daily. So getting into that cadence has been helpful. And then every single week, we look at focusing on that project of that free session that we're doing. So that's also casting wind to our sail. And because of that, that's also helped us adapt to this type of technology. And then the past 2 weeks and next week, we've invested in our own internal team building planning sessions for our team, where we have as a team, just like everybody else, has gone through monster amount of changes. Some of our clients that we're working with day to day went on pause. Some of our clients that we know lost their jobs. And then internally there's been shuffling, right? And so because of that obviously creates strand in relationships, that creates strands in culture. And so that's what we've been investing in recently, is being able to keep our culture going, getting our team communicating better, getting us to function even better, from an emotional and an interpersonal level. And then now what we're going to do is we're focusing on the plan, looking at what we've been doing that works really well, and then looking at what are the things that we need to stop doing because we're not seeing the return on investment from a time capacity. So those are the things that we've done. And so I totally strongly recommend that. And that will definitely, it's been very successful for us.
Excellent, Herb. Really, it's amazing to have you back in the program. There is such a incredible contribution that Dale Carnegie does globally. I am a believer that the principles of building relationships, long-term relationships and sustainable relationship is the essence in business, in families, in communities. And I think Dale Carnegie is part of that ingredient, and you have been a significant leader incorporating those values in companies and in all that. So I want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for the opportunity that you give us to learn more about the things that are going on right now in Dale Carnegie. And I am sure that, Kurt, we will be seeing a transformational time for Rochester.
Absolutely.
And we will see people working harder and harder and creatively and smarter, because we have all the elements. We have an amazing education system. We have a health system, unbelievable. And we have unbelievable people like you. So thank you for your time, and be inspired. And I'm sure that we will invite you in the next future shows.
I want to congratulate you two on looking at your innovation and how you've pivoted. Last time I was in the show, we're all sitting in a room together. A lot of people you could have put your head in the sand and say, stop. But, your ability to innovate and pivot and to keep this type of message in Rochester is truly inspiring.
Coming up next week, we'll meet Reggie and Tatiana Warren, owners of Pura Vidaville Restaurant, and hear how they're actually expanding the business during COVID-19. To watch today's episode and the complete interviews of our guests, go to rochesterfirst.com/be-inspired. For more great talk with Rochester's entrepreneurs, listen to Poder 97.1, Saturdays at 9 a.m. For Mauricio Riveros, I'm Julio Saenz. We'll see you next week on Be Inspired.